So we are back with week 8, the week 8 homework assignment, as we can see right there. And so what we've got with this first one, everyone, we have the number, we're supposed to write this number 41 over 1,000 as a decimal. There's a couple ways to think about this one. The first is just to read the number as 41 thousandths. And so if we were to do that, we could say, okay, here's a decimal point, here's the tens place, here's the hundreds place, here's the thousands place. I need 41 thousandths. And so that would create a decimal that looks like that, 0.041. The other way to do this is to divide 41 by 1,000. And if we do that, we need to recognize that the decimal would be right there. And 1,000 does not go into 41, so we would need to add a 0. It does not go into 410, so we need to add another 0. And now we have a situation where 1,000 goes into 4,100 4 times. So we would subtract 4,000. We would get 100, which 1,000 does not go into 100. So we need to add a 0. That's going to come down. 1,000 goes into 1,000 once. So 0.041 either from reading the number as 41 thousandths or by doing long division. Okay, up next, we have 57 divided by 22. And so this is going to be super fun. Not really, I sort of hate long division myself, but we got to do it. So we've got 57 divided by 22. And so let's go ahead and put our decimal place where it belongs so we don't accidentally forget it later. 22 goes into 57 twice. 22 times 2 is 44. And 57 minus 44 is going to give me 13. Now 22 does not go into 13, so I need to add a 0 and then bring that 0 down. Now I've got 22 trying to go into 130, which I think is going to go in there 5 times. Let's try it and see what we get. So 110 is what we get. And so 130 minus 110 is 20. We need to add another 0 and bring it down. So 22 goes into 200 9 times. And 9 times 22 is going to be 8, carrying my 1, 19, 198. And then we subtract those. We get 2. And I do need to add another 0. Bring that one down. And so I'm going to get 20. And 22 does not go into 20. So I get 0. And so now I need to add another 0. Bring that one down. And 22 goes into 200 9 times. And so I'm beginning to see a pattern that I think is going to be happening. I believe that we're going to get 90909090 repeated. And so we'll see if that's going to happen. So if I subtract 198 again, I get 2. Bring down a 0. $22 goes into 20 0 times. Add another 0. 22 goes into 209 times. And so we can see that the 9090, it's going to repeat again of 90. So we can say that our answer is going to be 2.590. And the 90 is a piece that's going to repeat. So we need to put a line over the 90 to indicate that the 90 would be something that repeats. I'm going to pause this for just a moment and be right back. Yep, I was just checking my answer or my work on a calculator to make sure. And so yes, the 90 would repeat, so we need to put a bar over both of those numbers to indicate that they would be repeating forever. We could continue this problem as long as we wanted, and we would continue getting 90909090. Okay, moving on to the next one. I'll pause here for a moment and then on to the next page. Now we have the fraction 7 and 13/16 as a decimal. And so what we're going to do for this is we're going to treat this number as two separate pieces. We have the 7, and then we have the 13/16. So we're going to take the fractional part, 13/16. That's the only part we need to turn into a decimal because the 7 is a whole number. So we will do 13 divided by 16. It's telling us do not round your answer, so this should come out to be an exact number. Let's see if it does. We'll go ahead and put our decimal in place so we don't forget it. 16 does not go into 13, so we do need to add a 0. And 16 is going to go into 130, I think 8 times. Let's try 8 and see what happens. Okay, we got 128, which gets us very close to 130. We're only 2 away. We do need to add a 0 and bring it down. So that's going to give us 20. 16 goes into 20 one time. So we will subtract 16. We need to add a 0 and bring it down. That's going to be 4 with the 0 on the end, 40. 16 goes into 40 3 times. That's going to be, no, it goes into there twice only. That would have been too much. So minus 32 is going to give us an 8. Add another 0, bring it down. And that's going to be 80. And 16 goes into 80 5 times evenly. So my final answer is going to be the whole number part of my answer, the 7. And the decimal part of my answer, the 0.8125. So my final answer is going to be 7.8125 is going to be where we end up with this one. Okay, I'll leave that there for a moment and then move on. And this one we're asked to round our answer to the nearest tenth. And so just like with the last one, we're going to treat this as two separate numbers, 5 and 2/11. We'll leave the whole number alone, and we will do the long division on the fraction. So we will have 2 divided by 11. And our decimal point goes here. So it needs to come up right there as well. And we need to add a 0 because 11 does not go into 2. 11 goes into 20 once, so we will subtract 11. We get 9. 11 does not go into 9, so we need to add a 0 and bring it down. And so that's going to make 90. 11 goes into 90 8 times. And we are rounding to the nearest tenth here, so I can stop because I do have a value in the hundreds place. And so that 0.18 is going to round to 0.2. So my final answer for this one will be 0.2. On the decimal side of things, I forgot the whole number side of things. And so we do need to bring that 5 back in now. We will have 5.2 as our answer. All right. So that's it for number 4. Moving on to number 5. Lucia needs to buy some pencils. Brand A is a pack of 24 pencils for $7.49, and pack B is 28 pencils for $9.97. We need to find the unit price for each brand, and so the unit price means how much for one. And so the way that we do that is we divide the price by the number of pencils. And so over here we will have 7. My iPad is doing goofy things now. 7.49 divided by, and I don't know, we're probably supposed to round to the nearest hundredth because this is money, and money only goes to the hundredths place, so we will divide that by 24. Again, our decimal comes straight up when we do division, so 24 goes into 74 4 times. No, it doesn't. 3 times. That's going to be 72. 74 minus 72 is 2. Bring down our 9. 29. 0.31, so that would be 31 cents, but we've got to be careful to make sure that we do our rounding correctly. So subtract 24. We need one more decimal place in order to be able to round. That's 5. We need to add a 0. Bring that 0 down. 24 goes into 50 twice. So I can stop now because I've got enough to talk about money. That looks like it's going to round to be 31 cents per pencil. Okay, so we'll do the same thing for brand B. 28 pencils for $9.97. So $9.97 divided in among 28 pencils is our decimal point's going to come straight up. It's going to be a 3 just like the other one. 2 carry 7. No. Yes, it should be. Let's see. I'm doing math wrong in my head. You should never do math in your head, I suppose. So 4, carry the 2, is going to be 84. So I get 15. 28 does not go into 15. We need to bring down the 7. We get 157. 28 goes in there. I bet it's going to go in 5 times only. Let's test it and see. So that's going to be 140. We subtract the 140, we get 17. And yep, we guessed correctly with 5 there. So we need to add a 0 since there are no more numbers. Bring that down, 170. That's going to go in there 5 times. And so we'd subtract 140. No, it goes in there 6 times, doesn't it? And so that's an 868. And that's going to leave us with a 2 right there. So we did that correctly. Now it's time to stop. Because we have the thousands place, and for money we only need the hundreds place. So to round to the nearest hundredth, that 0.356 is going to turn into 0.36 if we round correctly. So that 0.36 is going to represent 36 cents. And so it looks like brand A is the cheaper, the better deal per pencil, only 31 cents instead of 36 per pencil. So the better buy would be brand A. Okay, and I'll leave that there for a moment if you need to take notes or pause the video. And then moving on to, I think, the last problem, number 6, although there might be a 7th. Nope, number 6 is going to be it. So we'll get this done here. So at Garcia's Bike Rentals, it costs $37 to rent a bike for 9 hours. How many hours of bike use does a customer get per dollar? Write your answer as a complete sentence and express your calculation in decimal form rounded to the nearest hundredth. Okay, I guess we need to write a complete sentence. That's fancy. Okay, so how many hours per dollar would be hours on top, dollars on bottom. So we're going to divide the hours by the money. And so we will have 9 hours inside our bucks divided by $37 outside the box. Put our decimal in the correct spot so we don't forget. We recognize that 37 does not go into 9, so we need to add a 0. It will go into 90 twice. That's going to be 74. That leaves 16 here. 37 does not go into 16, so we need to add a 0. That makes it 160. 5, no, 4, maybe 4. Let's try 4. Yep, and that's 148, which leaves us with 12. Need to add a 0 and bring it down. 120. So we know that 4 makes 148, so that's going to be 3. We're supposed to write your answer, complete sentence, decimal form, round to the nearest hundredth. And so we have enough information to round to the nearest hundredth. And to do that, we're going to end up with 0.243. becomes 0.24. So every dollar buys 0.24 hours of bike rental. So about a quarter of an hour for $1. 15 minutes or so, I guess. So then 6B, I'll leave that there for a moment in case anyone needs that. And then it takes 18 pounds of seeds to completely plant a 3-acre field. How many pounds of seeds are needed per acre? So pounds per acre is going to look like this. So pounds is going to be inside the box and acres is going to be outside. So 18 pounds divided into a 3-acre field is going to be 3 goes into 18, 6. So it takes 6 pounds of seed to plant 1 acre of land. That was probably the easiest problem in the whole packet. Okay, I will stop there and let you pause if you need to, but I believe that's going to be it for this video. Yep, no more pages. So that's it for this video. I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you are having an awesome day.